So I guess let me quit yapping and show you what we're going to be working with here. So without further ado, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you go hit that subscribe button. Really help me out, and definitely want to stick around and see what I got in store for upcoming videos here. So if you've already read the title of this video, which I'm sure you have, you'll know what this video is about. But before we get started, I just wanted to kind of give a little reasoning behind why I want to do a different build. So as you know, the Mazda is still my daily driver, and I've basically done about all I want to do to it as far as, you know, the audio system and stuff goes. So I kind of want to just go a different route, just so I can have something that I don't have to, you know, work on a little here as far as still being able to drive it. I want to have something that, like, it can stay parked for, you know, weeks at a time, and I ain't got to worry about if I need to drive it, I need to drive it, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so that's why I'm kind of wanting to do a separate build, plus to have more content for the channel and something just to stand out, you know what I mean? Because I don't like to kind of blend in. I like to stand out from the crowd, you know, doing things a little different than everybody else does. But so yeah, I picked this thing up in Virginia a couple weeks ago. Me and a buddy of mine, Dylan, rode up there to pick this thing up, and it's got, you know, a good deal of new parts, or, you know, stuff that, you know, eventually has to be replaced, like plugs, wires, what else? It's got new tires. I'd have to pull up the list of everything that it's had done to it, but brakes and all that stuff. But so I guess let me quit yapping and show you what we're going to be working with here. So without further ado, it's a 1990 Geo Tracker, and this is they call it the 10 top version, of course, because it's not a convertible. But I think these, from what I've seen looking online and stuff, these are actually more rare because they are not convertible. And these actually, this one doesn't have hardly any rust. It's, you know, it might have some surface rust on like some of the like some of the control arms and stuff, but that's just normal, just surface rust. But if I can get a view under here real quick. But I mean, all in all, no more than you would typically have on a damn 35-year-old vehicle almost. It's got new brake lines and calipers, all that good stuff. But clean title, and the only dent that I found on this whole vehicle, I'm sorry, two. So there's one right here in the door. Looks like somebody's opened it and hit something. And then one right back here, right in here. Looks like somebody's had to push something from back in here at some point. Kind of dimpled up right there. But so this is not going to be a big build as far as the amount of subs that's going to fit in there. But it's going to be definitely something unique, and that's kind of why I was wanting to go this route, because from the other research that I've done, I haven't, like on YouTube and Google and stuff, I haven't seen anybody actually, you know, build one of these and put a big walled off system in here. So I mean, this thing is, like I said, to be 35 years old, it's really good shape. Got no cracks in the dash. It's got 100, well, it doesn't actually go over. So it says it's got 29,131, but it's actually 129,000. So there's that. But and the later models, they actually changed the dash. So the little bit newer models, the dash didn't have this cubby hole right here, which I actually kind of like it. And I haven't vacuumed it out or anything. I haven't washed it or nothing like that, but the seats and stuff are actually in pretty good shape. This one's got like a small tear, I believe, right in here. Yeah, just right there. But this seat cover was on it when I got the vehicle. But let's see. And that was my big thing, is I was wanting to find one that was a hardtop that was, you know, didn't have no rust, and that's what I ended up getting with this one. So don't you look at how good this headliner is. But all that's going to be coming out, because, you know, eventually I have to do a wood roof and do all that stuff, you know, spray foam, PL Max and all that good stuff. But this thing is definitely gonna need some work, because don't you look at this. Yeah, it's like, they call it a tin top, but it sounds like a tin roof. But yeah, that's definitely gonna need a good 2 layers of wood with spray foam and everything else. So what I'm thinking, I don't know, I haven't done any measuring, but I definitely am gonna wall it off from, you know, behind the seatbelt mounts all the way down. I haven't measured it or anything, but it's actually got a pretty good bit of height in here. Let me open up this back door here. So I did notice that this seal right here is not sealing the greatest, because we had a little rain shower the other day, and I noticed it before I bought it. But so this little black metal strip right here, molding or whatever you want to call it. So I noticed that this was rusting, but like up underneath it is not rusting. So it's really just this metal, and what it is this water is leaking in from this seal right here just a little bit, and that's why that is rusting. But I have to address that later on. But so got to pull this one and pull that one and tilt it down, and then pull that, and that flips right up there. But it's pretty nice and square, as far as, you know, the fender wheels don't stick out all that far. Of course, I don't know, like I said, I ain't done no measuring or nothing, but I don't know how many subs. I would like to run at least 15s at the smallest, 18s at the biggest, but hopefully I can maybe do 2 18s in here. Don't know if I'll do a 6th order or a 4th order, or do like a flat wall. I don't know yet, but I don't know. Leave me a comment down below what y'all would like to see in this thing, as far as what y'all think would fit in here with the amount of room I got. Like I said, I don't know the measurements yet, but we'll find that out later on. I don't know, I was looking at this. Now I might be able to mount the amps and stuff in here if I do 1 big amp or do 2 smaller amps. I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. But all that just comes off pretty easy right through there. But I mean, this interior, like I said, is in still really good shape. Got your little ashtray right there. But yeah, like I said, something different. I know everybody, they do like the big Tahoes and Suburbans and all that stuff, but I've never seen one of these built. And it is 4-wheel drive, by the way, and it works. And this was kind of odd. The hood pop is actually in the glove box. Got a nice service manual here. I've actually been having to go through it, kind of reading through that on some things. But yeah, so the hood popper's right here. That's pretty weird. So I bought this thing and I was unaware before we went to go pick it up, and the guy I got it from, he kind of, I could tell he was trying to play it off a little bit, like that's just how they run, this and that, but I could tell it wasn't running on all 4 cylinders. Well, he just tried to play it off like, oh, that's just how it runs, this and that. So I don't know, I've worked on cars and things long enough, I can tell when something's running right and when it's not. So running on 3 cylinders. He had already done new plugs and wires and a new coil right here. So my first thing when I got home, I was looking at these plug wires and I noticed that he didn't have the right wires, because they're numbered 1 through 4, and he didn't have the right wires going. At least they may have been going to the right the right spot on the distributor, but it wasn't going to the right plug. Like that number 1 wire, because they're actually numbered, like see right there's 4, you got 3, so they're numbered 1 through 4. So what I did is I just pulled all these wires completely off, and then I went through and I numbered them. I had to use that service manual to know which one was number 1, 2, 3, and 4 cylinder, and hooked everything back up, and it still was, not running 100%. So then I pulled the plugs, and they're supposed to be gapped at right here, spark plug gap 0.28 right there, and they was at like almost 0.40. So I re-gapped those, put them back in, and it still didn't fix it. So then I did a compression test, and I unplugged the fuse for the fuel pump. I unplugged the ignition coil, and I did exactly how the manual says to do. So you take all the plugs out, take the fuse out, unhook the coil, and thread the compression tester in here, and you do each cylinder one at a time. And when you're turning the motor over, you got to have the gas pedal floored. So number 1 cylinder was like 60 psi, so that was like, oh crap, because in the manual it says you need to have a minimum of 170. So I'm immediately like, what the heck, I've done bought something that's blew up or whatever. But ended up check number 2 cylinder, and that one was 35. I'm like, what the hell? So then I checked numbers 3 and 4, and 3 and 4 was both 150 psi exactly. So then I'm like, well, I'm kind of stumped. I'm thinking, well, I wonder if it could have jumped the timing belt, because these are actually non-interference motors. And so I did a little digging online, and I found a video, and it had all the symptoms that this one has. So I'm like, okay, let me just change this timing belt. Hopefully that'll fix it. Well, drained the radiator, pulled the radiator, took all this, the fan off, all the belts off. I got timing cover off, and I changed the got it top dead center, and changed the timing belt and the tensioner, put everything back on. Still ain't running right. So I'm like, crap. So then I ended up pulled this upper part of the intake here off and removed the valve cover, because it was actually leaking pretty bad. You can see some of the gunk up here, but I cleaned it up really good. And I just checked the valve lash on all the valves the way that the manual states. The intake was, I think, 6 thousandths, and the exhaust valves was 7 thousandths. So I did the valve lash on the intake and exhaust valves, cleaned the valve cover, put a new cork gasket, because that's the only gasket that they sell for these aftermarket now, is the cork gaskets for this motor anyways. got everything back on, still is doing the same thing. So I'm leaning now toward, I'm pretty sure it's got a blowed head gasket, and it's not got any coolant in the oil, or oil in the coolant. It's leaking basically from cylinder 1 to cylinder 2. The head gasket is just split right there in between them, so that's why it's not building compression in those two. So hopefully it's still, it hasn't been ran long enough to damage like the head or the block or anything. So hopefully I can, here in the next coming weeks, I can do a head gasket job on this and get it back running right. But let me crank it. I mean, it cranks right up, but let me just crank it up and show you what I'm talking about. So it idles, it automatically idles high whenever you crank it, and once it gets up to temp or whatever, it idles down. But I mean, that knocking you hear is the hood prop. So the guy, he put a new battery in it. It's got a new factory alternator on there, but I'm actually gonna have to get one probably specifically built for this vehicle, because I don't even, from what little research I've done, I don't even think they sell high output alternators for this. But and I hope the rings are still good. I don't know, I'll have to do some inspection on that. But yeah. I definitely got my work cut out for me on this thing, but I think it's gonna be pretty sweet. Well, there you have it, guys. 1990 GeoTracker 10 top. Don't know how I done that, but I actually done all that in one take, which is rare. Normally it's like I'll start filming and I'll say something, I'm like in my head, I'm like, that sounds stupid, so I'll stop, start over. But I think I've gotten a little bit better as far as talking to the camera, trying to not feel so awkward, but it just takes some getting used to, you know. But yeah guys, GeoTracker build coming to the channel here. Definitely stay tuned. Probably do the head gasket on that first before anything else. Make sure it's 100% before we start sinking money into it and time and all that good stuff. But I think I'm gonna wrap this one up here, guys. Make sure you go hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.